What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're in the gym, as you guys can see, so I do apologize if it is a little echoey, but I wanted to share with you guys the things that I put in my gym bag and what you should put in your gym bag to have a successful workout, to make sure that you have all the things, all the equipment that you need to have a good workout. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So some of these things might be a little obvious, I know, but I think that these things are pretty essential to have when you go to do workouts. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is my skip rope. If you're a CrossFitter, usually you have your own skip rope, so it's actually really important that you bring one. I know some gyms do supply skip ropes, and I know some people know the workouts the day before they go to do a workout. Some gyms do release their workout the night before, so you can come prepared, but my gym doesn't do that. And when I go to the gym, sometimes I have a plan if I'm going into an open gym, so I know what I need to bring, but sometimes if I'm going into a class, I don't know what the workout is, so I always make sure I have my skip rope on me. Never want to be without it. And it's like, usually your own skip rope is tailored to your own size, so you aren't stuck without one at the gym, using one that might not work with your size kind of thing. So I always got to make sure get my skip rope with me. Another thing that I think is super important to have is your weightlifting belt. I love my weightlifting belt. It's just so beautiful. I do a lot of heavy lifting, and I don't try and rely on a belt. I don't think that everyone should rely on a weightlifting belt when it comes to weightlifting, but some days you do need it, so I always make sure that I have it with me in my bag in case the barbell feels really heavy and I want that extra support. I'll always have it there. Or if I'm going to do a PR or a heavy lift where I think that I would need it, I always just want to make sure that I have it in my bag with me. On the same essence of weightlifting, a really important small thing that I like to have with me is my thumb tape. So especially if you do a lot of Olympic lifting, a lot of CrossFit, it's really important to make sure that you know how to do a hook grip. And I know, I personally really didn't like doing hook grip at first because it did hurt my thumbs, but you end up getting used to it after a while, and it's actually kind of important to do it so that when you're doing a heavier lift, the barbell doesn't just slip out of your hands. So it's always important to have thumb tape. I hate doing hook grip without thumb tape because my thumbs are just so sensitive and they feel like they're gonna explode. So I always make sure I have a roll or 2 rolls of thumb tape with me, because I just don't want to go without it, because it sucks when your thumbs hurt and you're trying to do hook grip and you ain't got no tape. The next thing is something that is pretty obvious that everyone obviously should have. And the number one thing you should make sure that you have before leaving to go to the gym is your shoes. That one's pretty obvious, but also I have weightlifting shoes or my Versa lifts. I choose either one. If I know that I'm going into the gym and I'm going to do a really heavy lift, I make sure that I have my weightlifting shoes. If I'm not sure what the workout's gonna be, I usually bring my Versas with me because they're just smaller and easier to put in, and they're pretty much in my bag all the time. They're just easy to slip into my shoes. So when I'm doing heavy-ish, or I want that extra heel if I'm gonna do pistols or something, I'll use my Versa lifts. But if I'm gonna do a pretty heavy lift, I'm usually more comfortable in my weightlifting shoes, so I'll bring those with me as well. So shoes, very important. My regular Metcon style shoes I bring, but also good to have your weightlifting shoes. Another thing for the girls, always make sure you have extra hair elastics, because there's been so many times that I've gone to the gym and I don't have my hair tied up, and I go to look for a hair elastic in my bag and there is none, and it is devastating. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot work out with my hair down. I always have to have it tied up in a ponytail, in a bun, out of my face. I don't know how people work out with their hair down. Drives me nuts, but always make sure that you have a hair elastic in your bag, because that is so essential. And if you use that hair elastic, make sure you replace that hair elastic, because you just don't want to be stuck at the gym, especially if you're doing a sweaty workout without a hair elastic. That is so important. Actually, this might also apply to guys too, because guys have long hair now, so that applies too. And on that note, I like to make sure I have my Junk Brand's headband. I love these. They're so comfortable, especially if it's a really sweaty workout. I don't want sweat going in my face, so I like always having one of these guys in my bag. I don't use it for every single workout. You guys see me. I never really wear them for every single workout, but sometimes if I'm gonna be dripping sweat, if it's gonna be really hot like today, It's 30 out, so it's pretty hot. I want to make sure that I have my headband with me. The next thing is just something that is so simple, but is like so essential to have, and it is a pair of socks. I always make sure I have a pair of socks in my gym bag with me because I don't want to be stuck without socks, especially in the summer, even in the winter, because in the winter I wear a lot of like thick fuzzy socks and I don't want to be working out in those as well. But in the summer, I'm usually wearing sandals, flip-flops, slides, whatever. I don't have my socks on, so I want to always make sure I have an extra pair in case I forget my socks and I'm like, oh crap, I have no socks. I don't want to be working out in my gym shoes without socks. I just absolutely hate that. My feet smell, it's just disgusting. I just know. Always make sure you got an extra pair because it sucks when you go to the gym and you're like, frig, I forgot my socks. I don't have socks to work out in. It just sucks. The next thing is also another kind of simple thing to have, but also so essential, and I've used it so many times in my gym bag, is having an extra thing of deodorant with me. This is important. I mean, like, there are times where I've forgotten to put deodorant on in the morning and then I'm like going to work out and I'm like, oh my God, I smell it, and I don't want to be that smelly person at the gym. So I'm like, oh, gotta put my deodorant on. Sometimes, you know, you need to put deodorant on twice that day. Sometimes we're smelly. I mean, it just all depends, but it's just like, you don't want to be the smelly person in the gym. So it's always good to just keep an extra thing of deodorant in your bag. I've learned this the hard way. I just don't want to be smelling in the gym. The next thing is also another very simple thing to have, but it is kind of very essential to have because you don't want to be the stinky person at the gym, and that's having an extra thing of deodorant in your bag. There have been so many times where I get to the gym and I'm like, oh, did I put deodorant on this morning? I kind of smell, I need deodorant. So it's always good to have an extra stick of deodorant because you don't want to be that smelly person. Nobody does. Nobody wants to stink up the whole gym. So bring an extra stick of deodorant with you. This is like kind of essential to have because you just don't want to be going without deodorant sometimes, especially when it's sweaty in the summer. So the next two things are pretty essential to me, and I think that they're pretty essential when it comes to your warm-up routine, and it is a baseball and a foam roller. So I know most gyms definitely have foam rollers and some gyms have like baseballs or hard balls to massage your body on, but I think that these two things are very important. And if they're not already implemented in your routine when it comes to fitness, I think that you should definitely start implementing these in your warm-up routine because it just helps warm up the muscles, helps get those little kinks out, helps get the little small areas, especially with the ball. Like for me, it's very important that I use this in my traps, in my upper, like in my shoulders, in my upper back, like that whole area. It's super important that I use this to warm up my arms, to make sure that I have the good mobility when it goes to coming to snatch or just anything overhead. And this I like to use, it's like a small travel size one that I can just keep in my bag and warm up my major body parts like my back, my legs, you know, even my lat area. I like having all these things because I think it's just so essential when it comes to warming up. You want to make sure that your body's properly warmed up and you've kind of moved out all the kinks and you warmed up the smaller kind of areas that you wouldn't necessarily warm up in like a stretch or anything like that. So yeah, I really like these. I think that they're pretty essential to have as well. Next are also a couple wearable items. I mean, I guess I could have put this in like better categories, but we're just kind of going through all the things that I think are essential in the gym bag. So they're not in order, but the next things I think that are definitely essential if you're a CrossFitter is having your grips with you. I mean, these bad boys, like really, same thing as I said before, you might not know the workout before, so you have no idea if there's bar work. Most of the time, a lot of CrossFit workouts, there's a lot of bar work, so it's kind of essential to make sure that you have your grips with you because you don't want to be ripping open your hands. Like that is just not fun. You don't want to be doing a workout without your grips, so just make sure you always have them in your bag with you. And I don't know, there's not much to say. Just make sure you have them because you don't want to rip open your hands because that just sucks and it takes forever to heal and nobody wants that. On the same note, I really make sure that I have my wrist wraps with me. I keep these bad boys with me all the time. I've gotten really weak wrist from doing years of cheerleading and just like all the pressure on my wrist from years of cheerleading. So when it comes to heavy bar work, especially things over my head or even handstand stuff, I gotta make sure I have my wrist wraps with me. They just like save my wrist so much and just takes off so much pressure. So I always make sure I have these with me as well. And I usually carry one of these bad boys with me. I have a whole set, but usually I carry just one of them with me. I like to have these just to help me warm up. I know most gyms usually have these, but sometimes the gyms don't have them, or some, like my gym personally, they only have a couple, and sometimes people are using them. So I just like to bring my own thing and use it because it's just easier, and I don't have to wait for someone to be done with it or anything like that, because warm-ups can be done very quick. So always bring some booty bands with me just to make sure my legs are warmed up, especially when I'm doing a heavy leg day. I like to have them with. And the last couple items is just a water bottle and a towel. I like to bring my towel with me just because I get sweaty and I get disgusting and it's just all gross. So I like to bring a little towel with me because I don't want to be just drenched, you know, like sometimes workouts get really sweaty, so I like to just have a towel with me in case. And of course you want to make sure that you obviously stay hydrated. We want to stay hydrated when we're during a workout. Sometimes I will bring like electrolytes with me. Very rarely I'll bring pre-workout with me, depending how I'm feeling. Really just depends how I'm doing. And if it's gonna be like a really intense cardio section, I like to make sure that I have some electrolytes with me, but most of the time I bring my water bottle with me, and this guy is just so essential because I can't do a workout without drinking a crap ton of water. Anyways, those are all the items that I think you guys should have in your gym bag to make sure that you guys have a good workout and you're not missing any equipment, so it's always a successful workout. If I missed anything or you guys think that there's an essential thing that you guys bring with you, let me know down in the comments below. And yes, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It truly does help the channel a lot. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. And don't forget to be unstoppable. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Cold inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drink your night.